Set your place on fire.
You are now listening to the Narrative Podcast with Halsey Allen. The Narrative Podcast is changing the narrative one episode at a time.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Narrative, another edition of the Narrative Podcast. I'm your host, Halsey Allen. Welcome all my narrators. So here we are again, another weekend. The Narrative Podcast is the home of original people positivity, reciprocity, and positive frames of reference. So, all my narrators, they already know the demonstration about my content, what I'm anticipating to achieve here on this audio platform that I'm occupying currently. But to all my people unfamiliar with my content and my programming, I'll just give you a brief walkthrough, what my podcast is about and the takeaway that I'm wanting my listening audience to get from it. So let's start at the top. First of all, the narrative. Start at the name, the narrative. I named it the Narrative Podcast because I want to flip the narrative. I believe the general liberal media weaves a false narrative about original people and original culture. I'll get to the original part in just a second. They basically warp and skew our culture. They paint us in a bad light. They play up all the negative nuances within our culture and about our people. They're always projecting negative images about us and, portraying us in a negative light. So what I want to do, I want to design a platform where we're kind of stepping away from all these negative stereotypes that are propagated by the media, just playing up our strengths and highlighting and showcasing us at our best, winning, being leaders in the community, being entrepreneurs, giving back, and just being who we are as a people, who we truly are as a people, not what's being widely televised about us. So that's what I want to do on my platform. It's my personal belief that, we can change the narrative. As a matter of fact, my tagline is the Narrative Podcast, changing the narrative one episode at a time by destroying negative stereotypes. And this is why I call my listening audience my narrators, because we all have the power to change the narrative based upon the content that we post online. Just think about people outside of our culture. These days, people judge you based on the content that you're posting online. So we already know that the media gives them negative frames of reference about us. So the only other way they can access us and know of us is, what we're posting online. And then sidebar, this is what, all these Fortune 500 companies collect their data from to, create products. And these television execs and bigwigs like programming on radio stations and television media in the media. This is how they generate their content. They look at what we're looking at online, our algorithms and whatnot, and what we're posting online, and they create content based around their data. So just imagine if we're always posting gang culture, drug culture, thought culture, pimp culture, whore culture, all these negative, if we're indulging in all these negative stereotypes about our people, they're going to constantly keep generating content based around that. And then ultimately warping and skewing, the outward perception of us by people outside of our culture. They intentionally do it anyway to promote news and to also secure dominant societies, socioeconomic stronghold over us, thus locking us out from certain circles and resources that will enable us to become and stay self-sufficient as we once were. So it's not an accident that they do this, but we don't have to further play into it by posting negative things online about our people and our culture. Like, you're a grown man, you're a grown woman, you can post whatever you want to on your platform, on your social media platform, but just know it's going to come with an adverse side effect. So this my platform and content is not about caring what someone outside of our culture thinks about us, but it's more to the point of just telling our story correctly and making sure we get accurate representation of us, not false representation of us. So that's what I'm attempting to do on my platform. So now I noticed you noticed I said original a lot. On my platform, I also refer to us as original people versus black. Because I believe that's just a more accurate description of who we are as a people versus black. Well, once upon a time in early civilization, the word black meant something good, something positive, something powerful, something impactful, something uplifting. But the powers that be took a hold of it and flipped it and made it mean something negative. And, it seems like to me, from my perspective over time, how it got embedded into our psyches, we react to it in a negative way and carry and conduct ourselves in a negative way from being called black. And I give it an example, like if you go up to any, dictionary or thesaurus written in the English language and look up the word black, you will notice all these negative words, negative nouns, adverbs, describing how to use the word black, negative example sentences. But before they come to all that negativity, they go out of their way to denote origin. And it'll usually start off like people originating or descending, Aboriginal people or people, depending on what, version of the dictionary you're looking at, Aboriginal or original people, descending from Africa. And then they'll start with, all these negative words like black, gloomy, desolate, depressed, dismal, dank, dirty, and they'll keep going on and on. And, my point is just they keep going on with it. So, when you're reading it, you gravitate to all that negativity and associate anything black with something negative. And, to support my claim, just look at our condition here in America and abroad as a people. So while we are prospering and rising and elevating on many levels, we're still worldwide struggling with the same thing that we've been struggling with for over 100 years now, for equality, for inclusion, to be left alone, to be respected as a human being. So that's all from Black. Now, when you look at the word original, there's no negative connotation surrounding the word original. Original pretty much means the beginning of things, while versus Black means, sickness is associated with sickness, death, and the end of all things. Original means the beginning, the start, the first, and in many cases, the best. Now, I'm not saying we're better than anybody, but original is definitely solid. You always want the original copy legally. The original copy is what stands up in court. But more to the point, to my point of why I refer to our people as original, is because we were here on this planet about 5,000 years before anyone else was on the planet. And we weren't, stooped over. We was fully sentient, standing upright. We didn't have a cranial overbite. We were writing and speaking language. We built cities. We built civilizations. We was in every single corner of the globe you can think of. And contrary to our belief, we didn't get there in all them corners of the globe on slave ships. Like, we was already existing here in America, in the Americas, was already existing in parts of Europe and Asia and everywhere else you can think of. And then also, we originated pretty much everything that is commonly used today. We built civilization. We were the original scholars. We were the original teachers. We're the original architects. We're the original alchemists. We're the original journeymen. We built like modes of transportation. We built ships, sailing ships. We originated that. There's not too much we didn't originate it in the modern day world. So that's why I refer to our people as original as often as possible on my platform in reference to us versus Black. Not that I think, I'm ashamed of being Black or just, don't think Black is beautiful, because there are some positive things about Black, like all other colors in the color spectrum, derived from the color Black. If we're talking genetics, Black is the dominant gene. So, but like I said, the way that they've structured the English language and how they depicted Black in film and just, everything negative, your brain just kind of gravitates towards the negative, and you take that into your subconscious, and then you act that out physically. That's why so many of, our homes are broken and that we're broken as a people. But, you can definitely, if you feel comfortable still saying I'm Black, I'm beautiful, do that. I'm not telling you not to. I'm just telling you my reasoning by calling us Black and original instead of Black. So I often insert the word original in reference to our people as often as possible on this platform. So that's it, and that's all. Now that you know pretty much all my content and what I'm trying to achieve, I dive right into the content. But before I do that, I want to make a small disclaimer. This is a monetized platform, so there's ads. The ads will occur during my broadcast. I don't know when they're going to insert them. Sometimes, the ads occur mid-speech. It might occur at the very beginning. I don't know. I'm recording it right now. I won't know until I'm done recording. And then also, I try to make this very time efficient. I try not to exceed 1 hour. When I first started podcasting, I didn't know what direction I wanted to do. I started doing this around the time of the pandemic, like all other podcasters did. Like most of them stopped. I'm still here, like almost like 200 episodes in. But when I first began, I didn't know what I wanted to speak on, what I wanted to accomplish in my space. I just know I wanted to talk. So basically, when I started, I just would hit go and just start talking, and my podcast was just basically a glorified rant. So I took some time to, refine my content, my subject matter, and what I came up with was just to have a clear direction and where I'm going and what I'm trying to do. And how I've done that is, I split it up into sections, and I gave each section a speaking point, and that cut down on my rambling and just made me laser focused, hitting all my ducks in a row, made my content more cohesive and easier to digest, and resonated with, the listening audience better than versus just talking. So that's what I do on here. I give you a nice packaged content. So like you can go back and listen to all my episodes at leisure. You don't have to clear your schedule to listen to me. I'm just like, I'm bam, bam, bam. And you got something to look forward to until the next broadcast. So, that's it, and that's all on that. Before I dive into this content, I'm just asking you, all listeners, to download this episode and all previously recorded episodes of the Narrator podcast. It's one click for you, but means something big for me. That's how I pay the bills. This is how I keep on building the content. So please download this episode and all previously recorded episodes of the Narrator podcast. You can also like and share it too, but it's really the downloads that wins it for me. But yeah, you can like and share the podcast too. Alrighty, so got all that out the way, diving right into the content right now. So my very first section that I'm diving into is was just recently added for the month of Black History Month, which ended in February. But if you've been listening to me, I said I was going to extend mine to the first week of March, and staying true to my word, I've done that. March was the beginning of March was last week, and now we're midway. This is the 4th of March today, so on my last live was Thursday, and I had my Black History section in there, and so this will be the last airing of my Black History facts for this month, because it's Black History is like even though they gave us a semi-month, it was originally Negro History Week, but it is essential. Like to be quite honest, my whole entire podcast is Black History Month, but definitely got to share the knowledge. You got to put it out there. That's what it's all about, sharing the knowledge and acknowledging, those that laid the foundation for us and those making innovative strides to propel us into the future, and telling of our rich ancestry and culture. That's what it's all about. keeping our tradition strong. But without any further ado, I'm gonna dive into my first Black History fact for today. And this is actually a modern day one. This happened during the pandemic. Sister had made an innovative stride that, catapulted us into the future, like dealing with the, new emerging technology. She created a need out of necessity because of something that was going on at the time. It's still kind of going on. And, her industry is still thriving. But without further ado, my first Black History fact of the day is what is the invention called? Jeez, I forgot to take it down in my notes. The contactless locker. And the inventor's name is Rhea Huntley. And she invented it in 2019, just right before lockdown, or during it, like whenever it was. But essentially, she got inspired to invent it while standing in line for 20 minutes waiting on her order. She saw her food in the window, and it's like, so she created it out of necessity, and essentially, like, you don't have to touch anything. If it filled the 6 feet apart, rule that we was using in that time space. So definitely sanitary and hygienic and all that. And digital, of course. So it's a digital technology. Innovative. It was the first of its kind. It spawned like millions more. And then she's still, inventing new things. She has a tech background. Like, she's classically trained, went to school for technology. I think her very first job was at Best Buy's Geek Squad. But she's been inventing on just a roller coaster ever since, and she keeps going and going. Definitely no ceiling. She keeps on just breaking through and making new innovations. So, give a warm narrative podcast round of applause for Rhea Huntley and the contactless locker. And then, I forgot to mention, so this month is Women's History Month. So all my Black History facts are about the sisters, if you didn't know. All right. And my next Black History fact is about the inventor of the feeding tube. And that was invented by a one Mrs. Bessie Blunt. She's a nurse, writer, inventor, physical therapist, handwriting analyst. Bessie was born Bessie Virginia Blunt, and lived from 1914. She just recently passed in 2009. Born on the 24th in 1914. She attended Panzer College of Physical Education and Union Junior College. She essentially made a prototype of the feeding tube during World War II vets to feed the disabled veterans, males and females. She just took an old, like, plastic tube, like I think from like an IV, and just kind of like jerry rigged it to just correctly portion food. And then from that, she upgraded it to a stainless steel tube. And then couldn't find any information like did she have an actual patent for it, but history gives her all the credit for making it, so I guess a patent wasn't necessary. She also was a physical therapist, so she was teaching people how to write using their teeth, because a lot of people was getting their like body parts blown off in the war, arms and legs and all that. But she stumbled on her talent while she was a student in school. She got punished for writing with her left hand, because like times was real strict back then, and I guess like the left hand is your bathroom hand. So like she would like get disciplined for writing with her left hand. So in the act of disobedience, she started training her to start writing with her teeth, putting the pencil in her mouth and just writing like that. And so that's how she got good at that. In later years, after the war was over, she went into law enforcement and trained in the field of forensics, starting in the 1960s. And by the mid-70s, she moved to like England, over the pond, and got training trained at the Scotland Yard for forensics. But she lived a rich, full life. She invented so many things, but that's the one she was mostly noted for, was the feeding tube. So give a warm Narrative Podcast round of applause for Bessie Blunt and the feeding tube. And next, last but not least, the inventor of the laser phanoprobe. That is a one Dr. Patricia Bath. She got the patent for that in 1986. Just a second, I'm a little discombobulated in my next. So she attended UCLA in 1983. She was inspired by Albert Schweigheiser's service to leopards, and she's been studying the field ever since. So she was born on November 4th, 1942, and she lived to 2019. She was a member of Jules Stein's Eye Institute. And then, like I said, she invented the laser probe in 86. It took like years to develop it. And then she is also like from Harlem, New York, and that inspired her to also, you know, provide a service in that field for people to live in that part of the world, as there was like little to no health care there. So yes, history has attributed that to her. She also founded the assistant training program in the UCLA in 1978. But she has many contributions and first in that field of study. Excuse me for taking long pauses. I really didn't, you know, put those key points in my notes, and I'm just kind of struggling a little bit. But she also has done work in Nigeria for, you know, outreach. And then most recently, before she passed, she was recognized by Obama in 2009. So, like, give a warm narrative podcast round of applause for Dr. Patricia Bath and the laser probe. So, all right, getting into it now. Very first section of the Narrator podcast is my promotion section. And in my promotion section, what I'm doing is giving entrepreneurs, original people entrepreneurs that own or operate their own business or got a product or service that needs some promotion, the opportunity to reach out to me to get some free promotion. And the reason why I'm doing that is to help circulate the original people dollar in the original people community, with the anticipation that the business owners, proprietors, or inventors of the business product or service will, you know, somehow impact and grow the community, will hire people of their own, will pay into a nonprofit organization that helps their community, or, you know, maybe they have their own nonprofit organization, donate goods and services to the community, you know, growing and expanding their business and leaving something for future generations to either work or patronize. So without any further ado, right on to the promotion section of the Narrator podcast. So if you are or know of any business owners or somebody that has a business or a product or a service that needs promoted, feel free to hit me up, Halsey Allen, here at the Narrator Podcast at passionwebmail@poeticpassion.host. And in the subject bar, type promo. Body of the email, tell me a little bit about yourself, business, product, or service, and I will gladly promote it right here on the Narrator Podcast for 110% for free. Yes, sir. All right, on to my next section. My next section is the contest section. And in the contest section, what it is basically, it's an incentive. Basically, I'm incentivizing people to, keep on participating in my content, keep listening, keep sharing, keep downloading, keep on telling a friend to tell a friend to tune in. I'm giving you something, a prize for participating in the content. And in this particular section, what I want you to do is share your most recent Shopping While Black experience. And for doing so, I give you a bulk supply of your favorite snack, hence the title, Chew On This. To enter the Chew On This contest, simply email me at the exact same email address that I gave you for promotion. The only difference is I'm separating the two by the subject bar. So for the Chew On This contest, in the subject bar, what you would do is type Chew On This / Shopping While Black. If you don't want to type the whole word Shopping While Black, you can type SWB in all caps. Body of the email, include your most recent Shopping While Black story, encounter, your most recent Shopping While Black encounter, and then include your mailing address so I know where to send the prize. And then also tell me what type of snack you would like. So again, to enter the contest, hit me up at passionwebmail@poeticpassion.host. And in the subject bar, type Shopping While Black Chew On This / Shopping While Black, or SWB in all caps. Body of the email, your mailing address, your most recent Shopping While Black encounter, and then tell me what type of snack you want. Very simple. And, as my platform grows, I'll be able to, send you more extravagant gifts, merchandise, trips and all that. I'm in the works of attracting sponsors, but right now it's coming all out of my pocket, and that's what I'm budgeted for. So a bulk supply of your favorite snack. So on into the next section, which is actually the primary section of the Narrator podcast, is the highlight section. In the highlight section, what I'm doing is I'm highlighting businesses owned and operated by original people. And the purpose of me doing this, because again, the media warps and flips the narrative about us. They're always showing us down and destitute and disenfranchised, never doing for self, never in positive, circumstances. So this is me putting out the positive frame of reference about people that overcame their surroundings and decided to do something that they enjoyed with their lives. This usually tells about people working regular 9-to-5 jobs, got tired of working their 9-to-5 jobs, wanted to do something different with their lives, wanted to pursue something that they were passionate about, and decided to open their own business. Also in this section, what I'm trying to do is, encourage us to patronize each other, because, while we are due reparations, it's up to us to support one another. People that own their own business, have a product or a service that needs supported, and not for nothing, a podcast is a service. So anybody listening, support the Narrative podcast. Download this episode and our previously recorded episodes of the Narrative podcast. But anyway, back to the section. I'm providing a positive frame of reference about us doing for ourselves and impacting our communities. The people that I usually highlight, they didn't have didn't have it all figured out when they started the business. They had either little to no educational background, little to no finances, little to no experience or insight about whatever their business is, whatever product that they're selling. They just stepped out on faith and made it happen. And then also some other qualifying factors I use for the highlight section. Typically the people that I highlight service the community by hiring their own, giving back to the community. They either have their own nonprofit organization or pay into one, or provide the community with some type of service. They do some type of community outreach. And and the last qualifying factor is the businesses that I highlight align up with my theme. So now that you know what the highlight section is about, I'm gonna dive right in. So since I said theme, that was a perfect segue to, tell you what my theme is this week. So today, March 4th, marks National Pound Cake Day. So all the businesses that I will be highlighting today in the highlight section specialize in pound cakes. So pound cakes, if you didn't know, the goddess name is derived from because it takes a pound of ingredients to make the cake. So it's made out of butter, sugar, and flour. So you need a pound of butter, a pound of sugar, and a pound of flour to make a pound cake. That's how it got its name. It's been around since it's rumored to been around since the 17th century. The recipe, no one's quite sure, but it's been around for quite a long time. So, and our people, original people, we love some pound cake. Now myself, I'm plant-based. I don't do the pound cake, but I'm looking forward to attempting to try to find some vegan pound cake. Not gonna lie, I do miss it. That was one of my favorite desserts. But up first, this is a company that specializes in pound cake, and it is called Delicious Pound Cake, and it's D/Licious, D with two E's, Licious Pound Cake, and the proprietor's name is Stephanie Rosa. The website address is deliciouspoundcakes.com. The address for the brick and mortar location is 9378 Mason Montgomery Road, Suite 341 in Mason, Ohio. Zip 45040. Telephone number, area code 513-770-0947. How this came about, she basically got inspired baking. She's been baking her whole life. She got inspired by helping her grandmother bake and cook holiday meals. So one day she made up some pound cakes to, support her grandmother at church's fundraising. To raise funds and how they be having church dinners. So she made some pound cake for the church dinner or bazaar, whatever it was. And not only did they sell out of the pound cake, but people, at church was like, a whole bunch of people was like, yo, you got to sell this full time. You have to. Like, the pound cakes are that good. You need to make this a full-time business. And so she took their advice, stepped out on faith, and used Facebook to like make her first wave of pound cakes. And so she's been doing it ever since. Her business has been thriving. She started out on Facebook. I couldn't find any articles or anything to cement where she got the funding from, and how she got the brick or mortar location, or none of that. If I did, I would have shared it, because that's also what I try to do in this section, is to show you the process, of the businesses, like how they came up with the name, how long it took, obstacles, etc. But I got what I got today. So give a warm Narrative Podcast round of applause for Shantae, Rosa, and the delicious pound cakes. Now the next business goes by the name Estella's. It was established in 2020, and the proprietor's name is one Miss Chantel Jones. The website address is www.estellacuisine.com, and it's Estella, EST2LA cuisine.com. And she started the business because she noticed a rising trend in plant-based diet, and there were no options in her area. But before she even got to that stage, she had to transition to the plant-based lifestyle for health reasons. She had a rare autoimmune disease, and she found, like, when she transitioned over to the plant-based diet, that helped her with that. She's not suffering from those symptoms anymore. So the plant-based diet is doing well by her. She is a chef by trade, classically trained chef. She also got traction after she transitioned into the plant-based lifestyle. She started cooking meals for her family, and then, like I said, just went on and decided to, make a full-on restaurant. She also writes books and stuff too. She offers tutorials and consultations for customers about the plant-based lifestyle. Two of her biggest things, she doesn't really specialize in pound cake. Like, she sells everything plant-based you can think of. She sells it at her restaurant, but two of her biggest items, it's most requested, is her chickpea tuna salad and the pound cake. So there's an actual, when you go to the website, you will see a review. Somebody reviewed her lemon pound cake and said it was the best they've ever tasted. So she does have pound cake on the menu. So go check that out. Estella's. Give a warm Narrative Podcast for Estella's and Chantel Jones. And last but certainly not least, rounding things out with the pound cakes is Pound Business. The proprietors are a couple. They're not married yet. They're dating. Reggie Borders and his boo thing, Nicole Felix. And the website is poundbusiness.com. It started off when Nicole's mother took on a turn for the worse with her help. So Reggie and Nicole, both tag team to get her back on the mend, and so they was both taking turns taking care of her mother, and then as she regained her health, she also was having I said also because the origin story for their business is just similar to the story I just shared earlier about the first business I covered. But she also had a church event, and so Reggie baked up about 4 pound cakes for her church event, and of course the pound cakes sold out, and she said she was bombarded with requests. People, everybody at the church was asking for the pound cakes, and she got an order for brought back an order for a dozen pound cakes. It's Reggie's mother's recipe. So he decided right there on the spot to just do it full time, and they've been thriving in business ever since. They started in 2018. So give it up for Reggie Borders and Nicole Felix at poundbusiness.com. And Pound Business, I gotta say, it's spelled with a Z. It's not Pound Business in the traditional spelling is Pound Business. So POUNDBIZNESS.com. So go support that. Reggie Borders and Nicole Felix's Pound Business. And 1 second, I have to take a brief pause for the cause, and I'll be right back. All right, I'm back. Had to take a little brief pause for the cause, but today my next section is called my spotlight section. In this section, what I'm doing is I'm spotlighting prominent figures within our community. Most of the people I spotlight are in the entertainment industry, or definitely occupying a space in the eye of the public. But the reason why I'm doing that is to create the sense of urgency for basically speaking positively about us instead of always us saying something negative about each other online. Because we're the only people that do that. You never see two Spanish people going back and forth online, dragging each other through the mud. You never see any Dutch or Polish people dragging each other through the mud. You never see nobody else, only we do it. Just air the dirty laundry out and just be mean and nasty to each other, using our public platforms to sling mud at one another when we already are facing down the barrel at the same enemy. So, that never made sense to me. Basically, the spotlight section is just me giving roses to prominent figures in our community. They use their platforms, or the people that I spotlight either use their platforms to speak positively on the cause and impact, the cause by being unapologetic, talking about, what we're going through as a people on public platforms unapologetically, or doing some type of outreach or activism, like social activism or outreach, being leaders, giving back, doing some type of philanthropy, or just the way they carry and conduct themselves visually to give, that aesthetic of us like looking good. Because like I said, we don't have a lot of good visual frames of reference about us. That's people like what people, judge you on. And like, again, the people that I spotlight in the spotlight section are usually in the entertainment industry, such as actors, actresses, athletes, comedians, public figures, public speakers, motivational speakers like directors, producers. I've also highlighted religious figures, but definitely an original man or original woman occupying the spotlight in my spotlight section. It is not for nothing. I always got to keep on pointing this out. I start the way for spotlighting, because before I added a spotlight to my podcast section, the Narrator podcast, nobody on the internet, YouTube, whatever platform you can think of, had a spotlight section. Nobody was spotlighting anybody. But after I added a spotlight section to my podcast, now all of a sudden everybody's spotlighting. Like any like show you tune into, they got a section where they'll be like, and today on that show, we'll be spotlighting this person and we'll be spotlighting that person. Nobody was spotlighting nobody until I added this spotlight section to my podcast. I pioneered that. And you can go like all up in my episode log and like cross-reference and cross-check, and you will see that I'm not lying. But anyway, like I said, I already told you the reason why I did it is this basically to create the healthy habits of us speaking positively, speaking positively about one another and celebrating each other's accomplishments, and just not always slinging mud all the time and just online messiness all the time. So that's why I'm doing it. And the fact so many people are now spotlighting, that makes me happy. That lets me know that, I'm making, I'm causing shockwaves out here in these digital streets. So somebody's listening, because all these people doing it, like somebody's listening. Even if I don't get the credit, it feels good, that people's joining in that trend and speaking positively about their brothers and their sisters on their platforms versus always, gossiping and saying something negative. So without any further ado, I want to shed some light on the spotlight section. Today's person that will be occupying the Narrative Podcast spotlight is none other than our renowned holistic New Age healer, Ayanna Van Zant, born Rhonda Eve Harris, 1953, in the back of a taxi in Brooklyn. In 1983, she was given the title Ayanna, which means Great Mother. She attended Medgar Evers University in Virginia and Virginia University. She got a Juris Doctor from the City of University in New York. and a master's from Santa Monica. But I'm not going to just run down all her educational background and her early life and all that. Basically, I'm gonna just get right to it. What I respect about her and the profession, she makes no bones about who she is, which is an original woman. She doesn't try to water it down like so many therapists. Coming from the perspective of like, we're all God's creatures and we're all one and in this universe and it's true to a certain extent, but our people have been traumatized and treated poorly, and we have different emotional and mental needs, and she addresses all of that. So she's been on the receiving end as an original woman. She knows exactly, the level of trauma we have, what triggers it, the system and all that, what we have to go through, especially living here in America, because I think, with the slave trade and everything, even though, like most of us did not come over here via slavery, it still impacted us greatly emotionally. The things we've suffered and had to endure and had ingrained mentally into us as a people. That's why, the types of mental games that they're playing with us, she like gets that and kind of bases her healing and her help and her expertise around that, and teaches those open-minded enough to want to take her advice ways to maneuver around like all the systemic stuff we go through, and how to overcome and get that real authentic healing that they need. And we do need some mental healing, and psychiatry is not something we embrace in our community. Therapy is not something taught to us. As a matter of fact, it's taught not to go to therapy in our community because we've been, betrayed by dominant society on so many avenues and so many fronts by opening up and telling us about our feelings. Like they use that as a weapon to break up our homes, remove our children out of homes, put the man in jail, all that. So it's very nice to always, see one of us in that field that understands our unique mental health needs and can, service that and provide that presence that, it's not just you. You're not alone. We go through this as a people. We're experiencing that too. So I'm in it with you, but, that's what I appreciate about her, and that's why I'm giving her the spotlight, about the way she does it. And she's also an innovator. She's selling a lot of things. Like if you watch the Breakfast Club interview, you know what I'm talking about. So she's definitely a sage matriarch within our community. She's attempted to help a whole lot of celebrities, and a whole lot of celebrities like blew up at her and, didn't take the help. And one was famously like probably one of her most, biggest episodes was, DMX, and she was trying to attempt to try to reconnect the bond with DMX's son Xavier, and that was like one of her biggest ones of all time. But she didn't buckle. She stood her ground. Like she was not scared of X. Like he was, if you seen that, he was going off spazzing, but she was standing firm on it. And I just brought that up. I wasn't trying to kick dirt on the brother's name because I don't do gossip. I don't do slander on my platform. But that's just something actually factually that happened. And, it's like I said, it's one of her biggest episodes. Everybody knows of it. And that's the only reason why I brought that one up, But anyway, like I said, I appreciate the sister. I appreciate her being tapped in with our unique psyches and, staying true to the course and just delivering that healing energy that we need as a people to be the conduit for that. Because, being us ain't easy. As the old saying goes, everybody wants to be black until it's time to go to jail. Like, then nobody want to be black. Everybody disassociates. Nobody's black all the same. But our people is the most traumatized, scrutinized, persecuted people on the planet. And with that, it comes a heavy burden to bear, emotional burden to bear. And, her being the conduit, letting people know how to get the help, how to recognize the signs, how to be the support system for, our brothers and sisters that's going through it. That's nothing shy of amazing that she's been prospering so long in that field. So definitely deserving of today's spotlight. Giving the Warm Narrative Podcast round of applause for Mrs. Anaya Vazant. If I'm saying it right, my bad. But you know who I'm talking about. All right, next section. This section is called the Health and Wellness section. In this section, what I'm doing is just basically giving promoting total body wellness within our community. The reason why I'm doing this section is because we are the most targeted people for so many pathogens, illnesses, and diseases. We have to stay armored up on all fronts, physically, mentally, and spiritually, because health is wealth. So, if your physical health is, intact, financial wealth is sure to follow. But, it's no sense in thinking you're going to get a large quantity of money and then no sooner than you get it, you're checking up out of here. But more to the point, like I said, we're being bombarded with so much negativity mentally, spiritually, and physically. They're literally putting things in our food, in the air, in the water, and, common items we use every single day that directly disrupt or destroy our unique, physical, cellular, genetic makeup. Like so much stuff that is targeted at us to destroy us. And like I said before, the media is weaponized against us. It's set up to make us look a certain way. And that takes a huge, mental toll on us, getting bombarded with that all the time. Like, you can choose positivity all day long, but when you're surrounded by negativity, eventually, it's going to impact you and affect you somewhere in your life, and it's usually in the mind. This is why they call diseases I mean, illnesses, diseases, they occur when your mind is at dis-ease. And when dis-ease sets in, that weakens your immune system, and then, all those pathogens and viruses, airborne like things set in, and it goes all bad from there. And your mental state also dictates what types of food you will eat, because how you're feeling about yourself. You'll gravitate towards foods that will, deteriorate your health, trigger certain mental things in your mind. So, like in this section, I'm teaching you how to armor up physically, spiritually, and mentally. So, for instance, like, on the physical side of it, you might hear the health benefits of a nourishing fruit, vegetable, plant, herb, elixir, or, tonic that you can ingest or apply topically to increase your health and vitality. Or, something physically you can do, such as exercise, to keep you in good health. Some type of physical exercise you can do to stay healthy. Mental things you can do, such as mindfulness, mindful breathing, using emotional intelligence, clarity, dissidence, like mental aspects of it, spiritual, such as like meditating, praying, holistic healing. On the spiritual side, like I said, like praying, meditating. Sometimes I might throw a wild card in there and talk about metaphysical stuff. Because metaphysical things, kind of play a positive role on your health, manifesting things, making something out of nothing. Getting in tune with that round. But today, I'll be sharing the health benefits of food that can really help you feel good. So first of all, the food I'll be covering is pomelo. It's in the grapefruit family, and it's a big, giant citrus fruit. Like I said, very similar to a grapefruit. It's much sweeter, it's much dense versus a grapefruit. Taste-wise, like, when you first bite into a grape, so you get that kind of bitterness. Pomelos are like sweet all the way through on the first bite. Not as sweet as an orange, but definitely sweet. So you get like that heavy pith and the zest and all that. So all citrus is rich in vitamin C, which is very good for your hair, skin, and nails. It's rich in fiber, which is good for the dieting, good for your diet. It helps you consume less food because fiber helps you feel full. And then it's also got a rich in antioxidants, which is like a fat burner. So, if you're trying to diet, this is why people eat grapefruit, because it's rich in antioxidants. But that particular citrus fruit is rich, like a higher in antioxidants versus grapefruit. It reduces free radicals. It's good to retain your youthful appearance. It helps tighten your skin. It improves blood circulation. It's antifungal and antibacterial. So, cut down on the body odors. Like, it'll help you with your athlete's feet. If you have athlete's feet or something like that, a fungus or bacteria, definitely helps you with breaking down that mucus, which Dr. Sebi proved within our people is the enemy for all, illnesses. Like that's the number one of anything because it's like an over accumulation of mucus. So you want anything that destroys mucus incorporated in our diet. The only drawback with the pomelo for our people, no real major data is out yet on it, but it's said in some circles that pomelo kind of deteriorates melanin, and so we don't want nothing to deteriorate our melanin. We want something that's going to build it up, because that's the building blocks of who we are is our melanin. So just like watch your intake on it, but it's definitely packed full of vitamins and nutrients and everything that'll get you right and keep you right. Just watch your intake on it. Moderation, like all things. Too much of anything is bad for you, just as bad, or in some cases worse, than not enough of something. But anyway, get some pomelo in your life. And on to our next section. This next section is my speaking point of the day. And my speaking point of the day is basically like current news, current topic, what's trending on in the world, breaking news, either within our community or globally. Like how does that pertain to us as a people? And the reason why I do breaking or speaking point is because the media will have us looking and sounding crazy. And history has taught us nothing else is, tell your own story, because if you don't tell your own story will be told for you. And that's what they've been doing for centuries, inaccurately recanting and telling our story for us. So, in some occasions, I don't have any current news to talk about or anything I feel is like noteworthy for my platform and what I'm trying to accomplish in my space. And today is no different. Today is one of them days. And when days like that happen, I usually just just do a PSA about us as a people. An observation that I've noticed. And something I've noticed is like, I might have already covered this topic, but maybe I need to recover it because that's kind of just, I woke up with it on my mind. And, when I make these observations about us as a people, when I say us, I mean me too. Sometimes it's like mainly me, making an observation about me, but then I notice like we do it as a people as well. But just something on my mind is like, knowing when to stand down. Like we go hard in the paint. We're so passionate, but we got those emotional triggers. So sometimes you gotta know when to stand down. You gotta be intelligent enough to pick your battles. You can't like go off all the time about nothing. And like a whole lot of this negative content that I'm seeing online, circulating online, is about us going off for nothing. And again, some of the times that we go off is because, we have certain traumas and certain things trigger us to go off. But, as a people and concern to us, anyway, we got to know when to stand down, when to let it go. Because, like, we be so quick to, go in on each other, but when somebody in dominant society goes, we rationalize it, we let it go immediately because, if I take this course of action with this Caucasian person, they're going to call the police on me. I'm going to go to jail. So I'm gonna just let them have this one and just walk away from it. So we need to take that same energy with us, because like a lot of times, a lot of killings in our community, it really stems from an argument that really wasn't even like all that serious. If one person would have just stood down, backed away, and just let it go. But no, we both, on both sides, when, a discrepancy, something has happened, both of them want to take it to the max. Like somebody got to stand down and say, you know what, you got it, bro, you got to sis. If it's two women going at it, if it's two brothers going at it, like somebody got to like stand down. Like, somebody turn up and then you turn up back. Somebody throw their hands up and get the point, and you throw your hands up and point back. And then they going up, they're raising your voice, you raise your voice. And then they, definitely don't let nobody hurt you, like physically hurt you. You got the right to stand your ground and protect yourself, but then also you have the obligation to know to yourself and to your loved ones, is this particular incident worth it? So in saying that, I said we got to learn when to stand down as a people, like especially when it comes to us, dealing with us. We got to learn how to stand down, when to pick our battles. Like, is this worth it? In this moment, to get my point across, do I really need to take it to the max? Is it really even all that deep and all that necessary? And 9 times out of 10, it's not. It's really, really not. But yeah, that's basically all I had to touch on that, because so many people would not be in the grave site right now, in the grave, pushing up daisies right now, if a side would have just backed off. If somebody would have backed off, they probably wouldn't be not here right now. But I do have a little sidebar I want to tack onto that, a little side tangent, if you will. I've also noticed, like, I just lost my train of thought. Oh yeah, keeping the same energy. Like, when somebody outside of our culture kills us, we do marches and sit-ins, and we protesting the civil injustice and all up and down social media. So we got an obligation to ourselves as well. When one of us kills each other, we need that same energy. We need to have the outrage within our community. We need to get that understanding. We need to band together as a community to stop this, to get this in perspective. Like, we need to go to the shooter's family, the gun person's family, the one that did the killing, and be there for them in their time of need, because they're the ones, they're losing a loved one to the system. And so we definitely want to prevent the retaliation too. That's one. Prevent the retaliation, because we don't need a cycle of killing, because now we enter into some Hatfield and McCoy stuff, because the friends and relatives of the slain person, they want revenge from getting their loved one killed, and that killing begets more killing. So now definitely, and then as a community, be there for the person's family that got killed, and try to, maintain the balance, maintain the peace, get the clarity, and allow the healing to let the healing begin. So, you know, um, like we need to come together as a community and just get it figured out, like on both sides of it, but definitely have the same energy when one of us kills each other. But in that same breath, also we got to realize while we do have to uphold the laws that govern this nation, that we have to adhere to the laws that govern this nation, we have to also understand as a people, we're not subject to some of these laws. Like we got laws of our own, traditionally, like to govern and uphold. If somebody was all the way foul outside of the box, like, the death might have been justified. And we got to uphold our laws as a people, because we are the natural man and the natural woman of this planet. So when one of us violates nature and they die because they violated nature, then, the death was just by our laws. So like if you rape an infant child and somebody kills you because you raped the infant child, or, I'm not condoning violence, but when you violate nature, that's our law. Like if you violate a child or molest a child or hurt an elderly person or hurt, kill somebody that's like mentally incompetent or physically handicapped, So, just saying. But definitely we need to keep the same energy in our own community as, when someone outside of our community commits the crime of killing. So we need to like figure it out, keep that same energy. All right, and then to end the narrative podcast with my final section, it's my final thought or final word. Sometimes it's the insightful word or phrase of the day, just something to resonate with you, a gem, a pearl of wisdom, something profound, something impactful to leave you with, to reflect upon the broadcast. So today, final thought is actually a phrase, and this applies especially to me. Make time, not excuses, and basically just prioritize, because you can find an excuse for everything, to put stuff off, delay things. But you can't delay time. Time's going to happen anyway, regardless. So utilize all the time that you have, because time also travels by quickly. And before you look up, if you haven't prioritized your time correctly, you will accomplish nothing with your time. So make time, not excuses. Make time for the things that are important. Not making excuses why you didn't do it. Well, that's it and that's all, y'all. Thanks for listening to another full episode of the Narrative Podcast. I broadcast every single weekend, but I also broadcast live during the weekdays. To avoid, missing a live broadcast of the Narrative Podcast, what you want to do is tune in every single day because my lives are random. I never know what days I'm going to broadcast live. So you can, hit me up on my YouTube channel, Halsey Allen on YouTube. Subscribe to that. Click the notification bell, and you'll always get an alert when I'm live, as well as Twitter, because this platform that I'm using right now, it broadcasts live, and you'll always be in the know when I'm going live. So definitely do that. If you haven't, please take this opportunity to go to support me. I've written a book. It's titled The Black Card. It's available at poetizer.com and their bookstore. So go to the bookstore at poetizer.com, or download the app and purchase my book, The Black Card. It's 30-page book of poems, really sleek, easy read, travel nicely, good fonts, really clever, witty poems. You will love it. Good table read, table book. You can also travel with it with its ultra sleek design. It'll fit comfortably in any bag. So yeah, check that out, The Black Card. Go hit that up, poetizer.com and their bookstore, and go get that. And not for nothing, it's your boy's birthday tomorrow. So this like my birthday weekend, but my official born day is tomorrow. So support your boy, The Black Card. Go get that. Download this episode and all previously recorded episodes of the Narrative Podcast. Pisces gang. What else I got going on? Yes, I got a personal poetry blog called hallziespoetrycorner. Please support that. You support it by sharing poems from Halsey's Poetry Corner on all your platforms, on your Twitter, on your YouTube, on your Facebook, on your whatever platform you got. Share the link from Halsey's Poetry Corner, and the link is www.mrhalseysblogs.com. The tagline for the blog, the poetry blog, is Halsey's Poetry Corner, poetry with a passion, poetry for all occasions, and when you read them, you'll find out why. That's it, and that's all. Thank you for listening to another edition of the Narrative Podcast. Join me next weekend. Now, I may not go live this week. I'm trying to really buckle down and crank out some merch. I had a Shopify store, and I wasn't paying attention to it, and all the merch that I had posted up on it, all gone now because I wasn't staying on it regularly. So I gotta redesign everything I had, all my designs, plus come up with some new ones. So I'm gonna be real busy this week. Yeah, I guess I need to take my own advice, make time, not excuses. But anyway, it's just a possibility that I may not go live today. So if you don't hear me this week, it'll just only be for that week. But I'm planning to go live, but we'll see what happens. That's everything. So that's it, and that's all. I'm out of here like last year. I'm Halsey Allen. This has been another edition of the Narrator podcast. Thanks for listening. I'm changing the narrative one episode at a time, and I'm encouraging you to change the narrative one post at a time. So, peace, love, light, healing, energy. Halsey Allen in the Narrative podcast signing off, and it's like that.
Set your place on fire. Put a little bit of shit, put a little bit of shit, get a little bit of gasoline. Put a little bit of shit,
To the Narrative Podcast with Halsey Allen. The Narrative Podcast is changing the narrative one episode at a time.